Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperium, and today's review will be Raising Kanan Season 2, Episode 4. Let's get into it. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. So this episode was a decent episode. You see, it's moving in a lot of different parts. And once again, you're seeing how Raquel Thomas, the head of the family, is she's all over the place, and she's not keeping her pulse on the family. She's not keeping it together, and she's not paying attention. She's one-sided with a lot of distraction. So of course, Marvin did mention we are seeing Marvin in a different light. Not so much just a hothead. He is thinking, and she's not listening, and she's just making her own decisions. So he did mention last episode she's moving too fast. They shouldn't just go and just try to set up shop in Newark, New Jersey. So we see at the beginning of the episode that one of their delivery trucks was robbed, and the mafia ran by Sal Baselli crew took the truck, what was in the truck. So they had a discussion. They, meaning Rock, Marvin, and Lou, had a discussion, and they basically trying to tell Rock, like, we need to just fall back. Rock like, no, ain't nobody gonna tell me where I can and cannot sell my product. So she was like, set up a date. So this is where we see all the trailers already showed this scene pretty much. She meets Sal Baselli. He told her basically, nobody moving on my territory. Here's a number. It's a tax. Ra looked at the number, balled it up and threw it. Now, Lou kind of just was like apologizing, like, yo, we kind of came off wrong. Rod didn't like that, so she pretty much on some old I'm not backing down for nobody type time. And so after she basically balled it up and threw it down, she said, we ain't negotiating. So she stepped off, but she did question Lou, like, don't challenge me in front of nobody, especially in front of nobody, whatever. So even though Marvin knew Lou was right, Marvin didn't step up. And so Lou questioned him on that. Meanwhile, that's what happened with the mafia scene right there. So then you had Famous, who's celebrating. Well, no, before I get to the Famous celebrating. At the meeting where Rock and Lou and Marvin was discussing the mafia, Kanan was there, but they told Kanan to go in another room and chill. So it was a bad odor in there that they just kept spraying or whatever. So they put him in a room, and Kanan started to look. And when he looked, he did see boxes. Inside the boxes, it was money. So he took a stack of tens. So here once again, we've seen the episode before. He took some product, and now in this episode we see Kanan taking money. So when he does these things, it's messing up the numbers, and when it's messed up the numbers, somebody else can be held accountable. So once again, like they said, raising Kanan. So we also did get to see Kanan meet his uncle, Defcon, his brother, and you keep hearing them speak about Defcon in past tense. So right now we assume Defcon is dead, but he could have just be moved somewhere else. And I guess they're gonna leave that one on question marks that you might always be guessing. But if a lot of people remember back in during not raising Kanan, Power, Kanan, the adult version of Kanan spoke to, he never even knew his father. So when was a scene with him and Tommy, when Tommy was saying he met his dad for the first time, and Kanan was like basically he never met his father or whatever. So are they going to play off of that scene, or they going to start a whole new whatever? But so we'll see in due time. Nevertheless, from there, you could tell the uncle of the brother of DEFCON, which is supposed to be Kanan's uncle, he's covering up for his brother. So what Rock told you something? Whatever. So, nevertheless, he told him, like, you supposed to be out there getting busy, getting money, knocking down chicks. He kind of gave him that bravado. Fast forward, that's where Kanan got into the party after he done stole the money. He bought liquor and drinks for Famous's party in his apartment. Of course, Famous got the apartment through Crown Camacho. So a knock goes at the door. Kanan answers the door. Two women basically said, hey, y'all need to keep it down because the people on 407, they'll call the cops on y'all. So he looking at these two. They look like two young ladies. One could be the little sister, one could be the older sister. Come to find out, it's the daughter and the mom. So the daughter already passing vibes and rhythm, but the mom is too. And so when the mom is passing rhythm to Kanan looking at her like, and she giving Kanan that look. So basically the mom showing her she with the shits. So, we're gonna see how that play out. They're gonna let Kanan be a Mac where, he gonna be knocking them down. So he might get the two special where he knocked down the daughter and the mom. So we'll see how that play. You know what I'm saying? And we keep saying, do this. We know Kanan's son name is Sean. So I believe at some point, Famous, I keep saying it, Famous will get killed. That is just inevitable for that to happen. So that happened. Meanwhile, Cartier Fareed, he links up with Ra. And Ra, he tells Ra he's always spitting philosophies and he's at this art gallery telling her all this stuff. And she basically said, yeah, you spitting this stuff, but I don't understand it. But pretty much, I know where you come from. He like, yeah, you gotta talk different languages for different people or whatever. And basically, he indirectly told her this art gallery is a front to wash his money. He buy the art with the cash. People come and buy the art with legit money, and that's how he's washing his money. So it's trying to broaden Rock horizons to expand her knowledge to you got to do something with that cash. Meanwhile, Unique shows up to the bodega with Juliana there and just toying with her. That doesn't make her, it makes her feel uncomfortable that he's still alive. So after he leaves, he does go and talk to somebody or whatever. So he's making plays and he making moves. He's playing possum, playing like he went out the game, but he's making moves on the back end to get that Rock. So from there, Juke went to go see her mom in this episode, and they had their heart to heart. And she pretty much, Juke asked her, just jump right in. Why you leave me? She pretty much said she was young and she thought she was gonna have this music career. She went to Cali or wherever and got mixed up with the wrong people. So much time passed, 10 years passed, and when she came back, she felt as though it would have been wrong if she'd have just jumped in her life. Juke pretty much told her like it wouldn't have. So she invites Juke to come to church with her, and she pretty much asks Juke, just she don't want forgiveness, just give her a second chance to show up or whatever. And she like, you came back to me, or whatever. And so you already see that's gonna be a problem. that relationship is not gonna build. I see that coming right there. So Juke went back to her old house with Marvin to get some clothes, and she went in there. And when Marvin, she came in, she kind of smiled that Marvin fixed up the room, kind of fixed it up how she, what he thought she would like it, and left a present there for her. And then he came in right while she was there and pretty much told her like, yeah, pretty much, I fixed it up what I thought you would like. And then when Juke seen him, she just got quiet and hurry up and ran out the house because she's hurt, and PTSD of what he did. So, so she ran out and she went back to she stayed with Rock and Kanan. And so when she went back to the house and she was at the house, and you could tell she's trying to like toy with her image. So she takes her hair out, and Rock came in and she was all excited. She wanted to tell Rock, like I seen. Rock asked have you seen Kanan, and she told her where Kanan was with at the party with Famous or whatever. She's like, if you seen him, tell him looking for him. And what happens is she's like, I seen my mom, and Rock was walking out the room, but Rock stopped when she said that. And she's like, yeah. But you could see the look on Rock's face. She wasn't happy with that. And then she told her, but Juke is happy. She's excited because, so kids, they going to want to find out and see what's up. And so that's why she reached out to her. And then she said, did she reach out to you or you reached out to her? And she said, I reached out to her. And so then Rock was like, okay. And then now remember when they had the first conversation, Rock was saying, well, listen, your mom was young, when she didn't think that Juke's mom was in the picture, she was kind of defending her in a sense. But this time around, she was like, yeah, well, some people don't need to, have access or be in your life, and, your family is here for you. So it kind of was reminiscent in the episode where Marvin, when he spoke to Kanan after he seen Defcon's brother, he was pretty much telling him, did you get what you needed? And he was, and then Marvin was pretty much telling him, well, you got your family. We ain't the best, but you got us. We're going to be here for each other. Like, pretty much, like, you can't be harping on people that's not in your life or they not, assisting you with anything. Your family's here, good, bad, or indifferent. And, we just going to deal with it with each other. So it was kind of Rock said the same thing. But you could tell it was more like Rock, they threatened, it's looked to me like they threatened Juke's mom or something like that. Because the way Rock looked like, what? She showed up like, nah. That's going to be a problem. So you can look forward to a scene later down with Rock meeting with Juke's mom and something coming behind it or whatever. So that took place. It also showed that Rock met up with the realtor and out to see a house, and she met up with Symphony. And Symphony, she was, asking him questions about the house. He ain't really feeling all that. Like, what you asking me for? Like, we ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So he asked Rob, what did you need me to take Kanan for that night? And then she, of course, she ain't gonna tell him the truth. So she just told him whatever. And she's like, well, let me show you the rooms. So it shows a scene where she shook the realtor's hand and, I make sure everything is straight. Just get the, give me an offer or whatever. So from there, Symphony pretty much told her, if you really fool with me, let me go. And Rock pretty much said, well, you're a grown man, I can't force you what to do. But he's so in love with her, anytime she'd call him, he'd come. But he's basically, I need you to help me move on from you. Basically, cut me off, don't call me for anything, and let me go about my business so I can be strong enough to step off. And so it just looked like Okay. She was like, he told her, you used to say it was like a vacation when you got with me. He was like, basically, I didn't want to be your vacation. I wanted to be your home. So, the lifestyle she lived, the two don't match. And honestly, if she really did care for him, it's best that he not with her because he could be a casualty of war. So she had to reflect on that. So all these moving parts is going on. So Marvin reaches out to Worrell. Worrell comes up short because, of course, Kanan took the money. And so Marvin asking him, why did you have the money stashed in that house anyway? He was like, yeah, because that's what Unique used to do. And then he said that. Marvin like, well, you working for us. You ain't with Unique no more. So got this Worrell. We seen Worrell was like a goon in the last in season 1. So they got him kind of playing more like a passive character. And so Marvin picked the drugs on a bus and school bus and told him take the drug that way. Of course, he already had a tell on him. Don't really know how they know, but they tell on him. Robbed him of the drugs in the bus. The odd thing about it is that it just seems so, the way they played that scene, like Rock and them is playing checkers, man. It's not, and they doing it strategic at all. Of course, this is just a show. They gotta just make it whatever. But I'm just saying, like, they could have wrote that better to be more strategic. It just seemed like, really? So I guess more needs to play out. So how they just knew that randomly that this bus was whatever. So I guess but we did see earlier a few episodes ago, they said you got rats all in her organization. So somebody could be diamond tipping people. So we'll see how that all plays out. So it kind of ended. Kanan seen Ra said he was going to Famous house, and he just left. Ra looked, and so Kanan and Juke talked about her seeing her mom and how it felt, and she pretty much like, I could look in her eyes, and it just was like I was just looking at myself, and so that touched Kanan right there. You know what I'm saying? So it touched Kanan, and when he left from his mom, he went to see his dad, Howard. And Howard looked at him, he looked at Kanan, and Kanan looked at Howard. He invited Kanan in. And so it showed Rock watch Kanan go into the house. So now she was driving off, and now her mind is racing. You could tell everything falling apart. Nothing is adding up. Her organization is falling apart right before our eyes. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to get worse because she's playing checkers right now, of course. But that was it. Decent episode. This was probably a longer review because it was so many moving parts in this episode that is building to something else. So subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.